Hello there, folks. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I am back from my sabbatical. Excuse me. I needed a sabbatical from making videos this past several months in order to focus on my recovery process. I had some pain come up and I needed to address it and find balance and focus in recovery, and I believe I've achieved that. And I have been sort of percolating and I've been sort of cogitating, and I was planning on starting to make videos again starting Saturday morning, but today I had a 2-hour client cancel who I was supposed to meet with from Italy, and then I had an opportunity to reschedule another meeting, and it's a beautiful fall day in Indianapolis. My house is lovely and quiet, the fire's going, and I had some creative juices. And as I was sitting in the hot tub where I get 90% of my creative inspiration, I heard a quote by one of my all-time favorite athletes, Tony Romo of the Dallas Cowboys, that just sort of lit me on fire, that I will be quoting here in just a little bit. And the title of my video today is Cultivating Joy and Healing from the Gift of Shattering Narcissistic Relationships. Cultivating joy and deep, blessed, emotional, necessary healing from the cleverly disguised gift of shattering narcissistic relationships. I have some clients out in San Francisco area that I was working with just this week via Skype. The husband is real physically active, and one of the things he does is he makes regular swims to Alcatraz Island. He'll get a group of people who train over a period of time for the swim. There's boats that go along next to the swimmers, and they swim to Alcatraz. And he had shared with me a bit of a metaphor that I thought was pretty cool, and that is he'll be swimming along, or a participant, somebody in training will be swimming along, and then they hit a cold pocket. I don't swim in the ocean much. Generally it all feels like cold pockets to me, but they'll be swimming along, and this pocket of just super icy cold water will envelop them. And then people who have PTSD then can have a panic attack, and you think you're going to be frozen in the cold pocket as you swim towards your goal. It's supposed to be a spiritual experience. They do these swims on beautiful days, and yet you can be caught in a cold pocket and your PTSD symptoms can kick up. So, friends, I've been experiencing a bit of a cold pocket, a self-induced cold pocket, and when you that's a cool picture. When you get off track, you pay a price for the learning, for the instruction from the universe. And I would encourage all of you to do what I did. And, if you hit that cold pocket, and you will, just keep on trudging, just keep on swimming, just keep on trying not to allow your PTSD symptoms to cause you to start flailing around and moving toward drowning. So I've swum my way through the cold pocket. I'm in a warm pocket now, and I have a lot of things that I would like to share with you. I do feel like I have a calling. My calling is to reach out to you people who've been recently shattered. By recently, I mean any time in the last year and a half, 2 years, but especially you dear ones who have been shattered in the past month or 2 or 3, and you don't have answers to the ungodly, shocking, life-threatening, stunning level of pain that is just jolting through every fiber of your being. And I'm here to tell you there is hope, that if you've been shattered into a billion pieces, you have better days ahead. I was shattered on April 26th of 2015, and really my shattering took place over a 3 or 4 month period. It was an extended, reshattering and reshattering and reshattering. But I have figured out what happened. Excuse me. And really, I feel more blessed today than I ever have in my entire life. My life is blessed. My practice is thriving. I have wonderful associates, wonderful. And we're close-knit, and we care for each other, and we love each other, we support each other. I'm doing excellent work as a therapist. I love my home. My kids are thriving. My kids are doing awesome. I'm so proud of each of them. It looks like my 2 daughters are both gravitating toward being therapists and writers, like their old dad, which is just awesome. And I've been able to heal some deep childhood wounds, some mommy wounds, as a result of an opportunity to work on myself through a relationship here recently. So don't give up hope, my friends. Your life is happening like this for a reason. It's incumbent upon you to figure out why you're going through what you're going through, and for you to squeeze every bit of insight and emotional healing and grace out of the experience and transform shattering into joy and healing, and transform it into stability and strength and productivity and safety for your future. I wish I could reach into my heart and just give you some of the joy that I'm feeling today. I've been listening to Iz singing Over the Rainbow and just doing a dance all day today. And that's also a beautiful picture. So we have a vision and we have a message that I think is unique in the Narcissistic Abuse Syndrome community of video makers, and that is, we don't focus on the narcissist. There's too much focus, folks, out there on the narcissistic boogeyman. And it's interesting, and it makes sense that there are people that are this cruel and this evil and this heartless, and it's early on in your process, it's probably fun to listen to that. But listen, folks, there's only one person on the planet that you have any chance of changing and healing, and that would be yourself. And the good news is, if you use this experience to do the work that is set before you, there are joyful, happy, blessed days ahead of you. So, there is hope, And if you haven't watched my videos as I've gone through the journey, start on the video that I made on December the 13th of 2015 called The 50 Symptoms of Narcissistic Abuse. Start there, because that's when I figured it out. But then I'll walk you through the ups and downs, the ins and outs of a recovery process that has been very blessed and very effective. I came across a poem that's noted. I didn't realize this, but it's called The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, and it's considered one of the best poems ever written. And I'm just going to read the first part of it because it speaks to my shattering. It just blew my mind when I heard it. So part of today is I'm just sharing some joy and some insight that I haven't been able to share for a while, and I'll get to the punchline here in just a little bit. But The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, written in 1922. He says, April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. Winter kept us warm, covering earth in forgetful snow, feeding a little life with dried tubers. April is the cruelest month. I don't know what month you were shattered, my friends, but I was shattered in April, and April will always be the cruelest month for me. So anyway, that poem spoke to me. Breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire. Part of the healing process, after about a year and 8 months, I'm finding is I'm starting to have a lot of dreams about the woman who was my narcissistic abuser for 6.5 years. And I hadn't finished really processing that relationship, and after a year I entered another relationship, probably prematurely and ill-advisedly. But I've been having some memories and some desire, stirring the dull roots with spring rain. And you wake up crying, and then you go through the day feeling sort of fragile. But there's joy in the morning, my friends. There's a reason that you've gone through this narcissistic abuse, and I'm going to explain it in just a little bit here. Your experience with your narcissist, you might be surprised when I tell you, was actually designed to happen, designed by Mother Nature, with the aim of healing you. So the message that we share is similar to Imago therapy, that was written about and founded by Harville Hendricks and his wife Helen Hunt. And what an Imago is basically the imprinted wounds from your parents that formulated or calibrated who you're going to be attracted to. It calibrated your sexuality. So basically, however you were wounded as a child, that will determine who you're going to fall in love with and who you're going to put in charge of loving you, which is especially bad news for most of us. I've talked about my mother, who is a borderline, and she didn't choose to really bond with me as an infant. She was very exploitive of me. She exploited me for child care, where I was left to be the main child care provider for an infant when I was 10 years old. When I was in college, I was ready to drop out of college, and I spent a summer taking every penny and investing it in the family. And my mother was a rager. She was a liar. She was a cheater. She actually spent some time in jail for stealing some money from her job. So my mother could be vicious. My mother was broken, and she was blustery and arrogant, but ultimately she was an underfunctioner, and she was extremely manipulative, and sometimes called upon me, the lost son, the son who really wasn't a son, to come rescue her. So unfortunately, that became my Imago. And when a woman who fits some of those qualities walks into my life, I lose my mind. I lose my good sense. And I don't see them for who they are. So in these past 2 relationships, I had a counterfeit girlfriend, just like I had a counterfeit mother, where my mother had a false self. Her real self was, this woman who actually was angry with me and disconnected, but she pretended to be the loving mother. She pretended to be Doris Day when she really was a really mean, bully-ish woman who really wasn't capable of giving me what I needed. So I find false girlfriends who are looking to exploit or take advantage of my wounded, needy, naive little boy. So basically it comes down to an exchange for me providing financial support and them providing, nurturing, and usually the main part of that is sexuality. So it isn't love like most people know. It's an exchange, and I don't say this as if I've been victimized, because that's the whole point of what I'm saying is I don't believe in victimization as adults. I believe we draw people into our lives for a reason, and we are responsible for our adult lives. So I don't feel as if I've been exploited. I feel like I signed on to go through a course of therapy, if you will, a course of education, a course of healing, where I unwittingly and unknowingly was involved in counterfeit love, where I was exchanging financial support for sex and for a false girlfriend. The other thing about these last 2 relationships is underneath the mask and underneath their false self, who was very, very sweet, there was a woman that just had all kinds of contempt for me as a man and all kinds of contempt for my wounded little boy, because they didn't really love me. They felt more controlled and used than they felt loved. And it was 2 people sort of using each other. They lacked sexual boundaries. They had the capacity, their real selves, to be extremely vicious. They are consummate liars. They're people around me who clearly saw who they were right away and tried to tell me, but when you're enmeshed with somebody and you're in love, you don't really listen to anybody. You listen to your heart, and if you're a man, you probably listen to your penis too much, and you don't listen to your friends and your colleagues and your therapists. My psychiatrist lady, would throw a fit and would just say, dude, you are lighting yourself on fire all over again. You know, you've worked so hard to put the fire out, and here you are showering in gasoline and, you know, lighting yourself on fire all over again. The women I was involved with were both financial underfunctioners, highly manipulative, and like my mother, would sort of put a call out to be rescued. The point, this isn't about the first woman or the second woman. They were gifts to me. Just as your narcissistic abuser was a gift to you. You have to understand the nature and purpose of romantic love, embrace the pain, and let that transform you. So for me, it basically was an opportunity for me to heal my deepest emotional wounds. So you can leave a relationship with somebody who was hurtful and maybe fit, you know, some of the descriptions of narcissistic abuse. That's not important. It was a blessing. I wish my recent romantic protagonist a lot of grace and a lot of blessing, and I'm grateful for the time that we had together, and I'm not angry with her in the slightest bit, and I would like to be a support and a friend and a recovery buddy for her as she moves forward. So there's just too much hate out there, people, and trust me, I know what it's like to feel so violated and to focus so much on the person who hurt you. Because I was never, ever so hurt. Well, I was hurt by my mom. And then I had to reenact the severity of the hurt from my mom with this previous relationship with this woman I was involved with, Betsy. So now, I mentioned earlier a quote by Tony Romo. I used to call him my favorite athlete, but the truth is that now my favorite athlete is Ezekiel Elliott, the running back of the Cowboys. The guy's a beast. I won't talk too much about football. I know a lot of y'all aren't interested in football, but the quote really isn't about football. So let me set the scene for you. Tony Romo has been at like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL for the past 10 years. He gets injured the last 2 years. Last year we only win 4 games because we had terrible backups. This year our backup is a rookie by the name of Dak Prescott from Mississippi State. And he's lighting the world on fire in a good way. And him and Ezekiel Elliott have led the Cowboys to an 8-1 record. Tony Romo's back is better, but everybody knows you can't mess with winning 8 games in a row. So one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL's got to sit on the bench. And so day before yesterday, Tony Romo had a press conference and he talked for 6 minutes. And he just talked about his feelings. It was a classy move. I have so much respect for that man. But I loved how he ended his conversation with this quote. He says, I feel like we all have 2 battles with 2 enemies going on. One battle is with the man across from you. The second battle is with the man inside you. I think once you control the one inside you, the one across you doesn't even matter. And I think that's what we're all trying to do. So the only thing I would change about that quote is we're really not trying to get control of the man or the woman that we look at in the mirror. We're trying to heal them. So in sports, you know, they think it's more about being in control, but what we know about healing is it's all about embracing your pain and healing as much as you possibly can. And if you do the work to heal you, the world of narcissists don't have power over you. Even if our president is Donald Trump, that doesn't have power over you. You're going to prosper. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be strong. Even this next 4 years with probably the world's most prominent narcissist as our president. And you don't have to keep falling in love with abusive, lying, manipulative, cheating, raging users who are monsters in human bodies. You don't have to. I'm not ever going to get involved with a woman who underfunctions financially, who's calling upon me to rescue her, who my friends don't approve of, who doesn't appear to be on my level, who seems to have a dark side. I'm never going to do it again. I swear to you, I have no interest in that. You know why? Because I've been blessed to work through some of my mommy issues. So let me read that quote again. It's just a killer quote. I feel like we all have two battles with two enemies always going on. One is with the man or the woman across from you, your opponent, your narcissistic abuser, the one from last year, the one from 7 years ago, or the one from the last 6 months, or, the person who's trying to hit you up, now. But the second battle is with the man or woman inside you. And I think once we heal the man or woman inside you, then that person who, might have all these prerequisites to harming you based on your profile, from your woundedness, from your childhood, they will no longer have power over you. That you can squeeze every little bit of blessing and healing and grace and tears and resolving your family of origin issues, and then you can move on and finally be free and finally make choices and build your life on a stability and people that can carry their weight and people that can hear you and not be reactive. That was one of the things I left off. One of the descriptions of my mother, she was always right. She couldn't hear you. She'd get defensive and go into a rage. And these two women I was involved with, you couldn't pierce their armor. They had to be right. They're always right. And I will never be in a relationship with somebody like that again. But I'm grateful to these two women, and I wish them blessing. And I do have memories, good memories, even of them, because it wasn't all bad. There was some good memories and some joy along the way. So I wanted to say one more thing that I left out, and that is there's 4 ways that you can look at the world, okay? And the healthiest one, I'm gonna put this up here where you can see it. The healthiest one is this one here. In the circle, there's 2 digits. And the first digit is a plus. So the first digit, it is about you. So the plus is, all right, I like me. I'm cool. I'm not perfect by any stretch, but I try to do the right thing, and I'm a good person. The second digit is about the world in general and your protagonist, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your narcissistic abuser. So the plus would be, the world is generally a good place. It's generally filled with well-intentioned people. Obviously, sometimes horrifically bad things happen in the world. But overall, the world is peopled by well-intentioned folk. And your significant other might very well be a monster, but that's not the point. The point is you fed the beast. You engaged the person. You didn't see who they were. You didn't protect yourself from them. So whatever their nature is really irrelevant to you, since you own and are responsible for your choices. All you take out of it is your own learning. So plus in my situation was, yeah, it was round 2 with my mommy issues, and it's all good. You know, it was an opportunity to heal. It was an opportunity to advance, and I don't feel none worse for the wear. I feel more blessed than I ever have in my life. Now, plus minus is what goes on way too much on these narcissistic abuse channels, and that is, poor us, we're a victim, and there's a devil on every street corner who's ravaging us, and let's just talk negatively about them and hate them and go on a campaign, a smear campaign, and that's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's not how you have not been victimized in your adult life. Anybody you got close enough to hurt you, it was your responsibility to recognize and keep them from getting that close. And if you didn't do it, then wake up and learn what you missed and why you missed it, and learn how to protect yourself and see it coming. Here I was, considered an expert on healing narcissistic abuse, and I had to go sign up for round 2 of mommy abandonment issues, but I don't have any shame about that. It's all good. Then minus plus is, well, I'm a worm, but everybody else is cool. So that's basically shame. And then the darkest place that many people who have narcissistic abuse go to is self-hate, self-loathing, unsafety. They don't feel safe anywhere in the world. Our president's an evil narcissist. I dated and was married to a narcissist, and I don't even want to leave the house, and I'm thinking about killing myself. And I've been there. I've been there in the most raw moments where the world just seems like a nightmare, and you just question everybody's motives. Not long after my shattering, I went to a CVS, and there was probably 20 women in the store, and every one of them I was projecting onto them. Well, I bet she's screwing the boss, and I bet she beats her children, I bet she's a drug addict. You know, that's the mindset I had because I was coming from that wounded place. But I'm here to tell you, you're going to be happiest and you're going to be most blessed if you get to that place where you love yourself and you accept yourself and you're not filled with shame, but also where you don't feel like a victim. You're not, full of rage at the world. You don't see the world as this titanic battle between the evil narcissists who are, becoming such a big part of the population, and they're so talented they can suck us in and, use us. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. It's just not true. There's a lot of truth to it. There are a lot of them out there. They are eating people alive. Been there, done that, bought a t-shirt. Ain't about them. Narcissistic abuse is about your opportunity to heal, my friends. And it'll not only give you an opportunity to heal, it'll give you an opportunity to have joy and to tailor-make a life that works for you better than any life you've ever had. And you can thank your opportunity, and you can thank your narcissistic abusers for giving you the healing. Woo! I'm telling you the truth, folks. I'm telling you the truth. So, God bless y'all. I love you guys. And I hope this speaks to you. I'm telling you the truth. You can turn horrific shattering into the most beautiful healing thing. You can get beauty for ashes, my friends. Well, thank you for watching today. If you haven't joined our YouTube channel, please do that, Family Tree Counseling on YouTube. Also, I have books on abandonment and shame and affair recovery and marital issues on our website, familytreecounseling.com. So Family Tree's going to be sending lots of videos, going to be making lots of videos. Jerry Wise is full-time. We have a weekly live stream show Tuesday night at 8:30 every Tuesday night. I'm there. Renda Hall's there. Jerry Wise is there many times. Karen Smith is there. Next week we're going to have Peg Nicodemus, a new associate. Andy Holzman is there sometime. Jen Dorr is there sometime. So exciting times going on in recovery. Exciting times going on at Family Tree. Exciting opportunities for you to turn your shattering into joy and healing. God bless you, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.